The 37th annual Royal Rumble takes place tomorrow night at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Unlike many previous years, the Rumble approaches with numerous potential winners that would make sense as WrestleMania headliners. While there are only 4 matches set for tomorrow's event, all 4 of them are intriguing in their own way, with the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches as well as 2 championship matches. Undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns will also be in action when he defends his championship against LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton in a fatal 4-way match. Also, Logan Paul will make the first defense of his United States Heavyweight Championship when he takes on Kevin Owens. It will be an exciting night of action as WrestleMania season gets underway. Let's take a look at who we feel will emerge victorious when the Royal Rumble comes to St. Petersburg, Florida. The event streams live on Peacock at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, with a kickoff show beginning 1 hour before at 7 p.m. Eastern. Nothing left to say except let the road to WrestleMania begin. Hello, friends, and welcome to this very special crossover edition. Talking Wrestling TXN meets TXN Sports World. I know the caption up there, the title up there is a little misleading because it says Conference Championships, and we will get to that as part of our traditional TXN Sports World NFL Friday show. That's coming up in a little bit. But first, I felt that it was in the best interest for our show, considering we only had the 2 championship games. We wanted to give you wonderful viewers out there a bonus. And I couldn't think of a better bonus to give you all than not only a preview of the AFC and NFC championship games, but also a preview of an event that I honestly consider the second biggest pay-per-view event of the year. They say it's SummerSlam, but no. In all honesty, the real second biggest event of the year is the Royal Rumble, because it kickstarts the road to WrestleMania, which is the biggest event of the year. So, nothing left for me to say except I am your host, Anthony Florio, and I am joined, as always, by my elite panel, good old MF Michael Fletcher, and of course, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Mr. Bullock and I coming off another one of our legendary SmackDown chats, as always, and oh man, what a night it has been in the world of professional wrestling, not just with SmackDown, but the big news that broke out earlier this evening. That's for another day in time, but for right now, the primary focus tonight is tomorrow night's Royal Rumble and then Sunday's NFL Conference Championship games. So with that being said, gentlemen, let's start the road to WrestleMania with the Royal Rumble pay-per-view tomorrow night from Tropicana Field, St. Petersburg, Florida, the home of the Tampa Bay Rays, with actual fans inside of it this time, not the Thunderdome. Oh no, this is not the Thunderdome. We're going to have actual fans in this venue for the first time ever. And I cannot wait to see how it all looks. So with that, gentlemen, let's dive right on in. It's only 4 matches, but let's dive on in. First up, the United States Heavyweight Championship. Logan Paul, the champion, defending the title against Kevin Owens. For some, this might be the hardest match to call on the card, even if it can only go 2 ways. Tomorrow marks Paul's first U.S. title defense since cheating Rey Mysterio out of the title in November at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Logan Paul parading around with a WWE Championship belt is a fantastic way to market the product to Logan Paul's large social media audience. It's also hard to imagine Logan Paul will fall short in his first title defense. On the other hand, WWE is sorely in need of active singles champions. Roman Reigns and Logan Paul are not regular television performers. And World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins is nursing a knee injury. It might be wise to give the title to a top fan favorite superstar like Kevin Owens, but ultimately it feels too soon to end Logan Paul's reign. Expect him to win via shenanigans in preparation for another appearance at WrestleMania, presumably maybe against LA Knight, from what I know. So nothing left to say except the winner, and still the United States Heavyweight Champion, Logan Paul. So not much more to say except I'm going to toss the mic over to the voice of the big pay-per-views, our Gorilla Monsoon, our Jim Ross, our Michael Cole, good old MF Michael Fletcher, MF, Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, United States Heavyweight Championship, as we officially start the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, and going into this matchup, there was a little bit of some good build that leads into this. And I truly believe that, I think Owens is going to make the match really good. I think the fight's going to look a lot more better. But at the end of the day, I'm with you. I think that Logan Paul is going to some way, somehow successfully defend this championship. And I think he's going to do it in a very uh, good fashion. So I'm with you, winner and still U.S. heavyweight champion Logan Paul. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, any other time I would have. Look, as much as I really want to see Kevin Owens win and just to see Logan Paul lose, it's his first title defense, and I just can't see him losing this. So I'm going to make this whole thing unanimous. The winner, and still United States heavyweight champion Logan Paul. So let's move on, Florio.
Let me move on to the other championship match, the bigger championship match, with all due respect. Fatal four-way match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. The champion, Roman Reigns, defending the title against LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton. MF, it's only fitting that you start off on, outside of the Rumble matches, the main event.
Yeah, and this one is one of the most highly anticipated WWE Universal Championship fights that we've had in a very long time. And there are a lot of people, real honestly, that's thinking, when is Roman ever going to lose the belt? When is he ever going to drop this title? Is there a legitimate threat? Is there a legitimate thing that could land this moment? And unfortunately, I just don't see it happening. Not now. I think Roman is going to successfully defend this championship, and he is definitely on his way to WrestleMania. And I think that's the ultimate dream of everybody. So there's really nothing more to add here to me. And truthfully, the winner and still the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Nothing more. So it is yours, Michael Bullock.
I mean, how many times have we been saying this, Fletch, since this whole run has happened for Roman?
Too
Not
many
that
times.
many, I'll be honest with you, Bullock. Well, there were two.
Yeah,
there were only realistically two times we ever thought Roman was going to lose the belt. Clash at the Castle, 2022 against
and
Drew
WrestleMania
McIntyre,
last year.
and last year's WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes. That's it.
Yeah, and like you said, the ultimate goal is to have Roman go into WrestleMania as the champion again. I mean, this is going to be his toughest challenge, but somehow, some way, I think he's going to figure a way to retain it. So I'm with you, Fletch, the winner, and still undisputed WWE Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. It's yours, Florio.
I'm going to make it unanimous. There's not much question over whether Roman Reigns will hold on to his title tomorrow night. A reign as historic as his is not going to end in a somewhat random fatal four-way match just months before WrestleMania. The real question is who will eat the pinfall. Given AJ Styles and Randy Orton have not been pay-per-view opponents for Roman Reigns during his run as champion, it makes sense for them to remain fresh by not being pinned by the champion. LA Knight has already had his shot and came up short back in November at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. And it seems sensible for Roman Reigns to retain his title by pinning LA Knight. So, winner and still the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the two big ones. The two matches that are the main selling point and why this pay-per-view has been in existence for now 37 years. The women's and men's Royal Rumble matches. MF, you're our Gorilla Monsoon. I think it's only fitting that you do the honors in explaining to anybody who may be new to this the rules of the Royal Rumble match. Nobody does it better than you and the Gorilla Man.
All right. Well, I didn't expect that this was going to happen, but here it is, guys. The Royal Rumble match. It starts out with two individuals, men or women, depending on what Rumble it's going to be. And basically, earlier tonight, they drew the numbers for the Royal Rumble match. Now, basically, two individuals starts the match and the Rumble begins. Every 90 seconds thereafter, another individual will enter the ring according to the number they have drawn. In the Royal Rumble, it is every person for themselves. No friends, only enemies. Elimination can occur at any time in the Rumble when an individual is thrown over the top rope and both feet must touch the floor. The last individual that stands in that very ring after all 30 have participated will be declared the winner and will receive a guaranteed championship match and main event spot at WrestleMania. Anthony, it is back to you.
Somewhere the gorilla is smiling, MF. That was awesome. I mean, that's why you're the voice of our pay-per-view events, man. No doubt about it. And of course, Royal Rumble, one of the big four, which means MF and I, we do the old school Gorilla and Jesse style commentary, and expect that tomorrow night. But anyways, let's get into the business at hand, gentlemen. I think I've given you guys enough time to think now. Time to put the money where the mouth is, gentlemen. And that is, we're going to start it off with the women's Royal Rumble match. Now, we don't have not that many participants have been announced. Only 6 have been announced. Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Maxine Dupree, and Ivy Nile. Those are the only 6 that have been confirmed and announced so far. So, Michael Bullock, as I started with you, with only 6 announced, you can imagine there's going to be a lot of surprises, not just in this women's Royal Rumble match, but also in the men's Royal Rumble match as well. So Bullock, I started with you. Women's Royal Rumble match 2024. Who you got?
Well, like you said, I mean, we're guaranteed to get some surprises during this Royal Rumble match. I mean, some returns. I mean, I did hear rumors of some returns, but I'm not gonna spoil it because I think the fans, I'm sure, would want to see it for themselves. So, I mean, there's a lot to think about when it comes to this. I mean, especially with Becky Lynch. I mean, she's had encounters with the current women's world champion Rhea Ripley, which teases obviously a match between excuse me, between her and Rhea at WrestleMania, and the only way that happens is if she wins it. So then you got so many others who might have a say in it. So I know it's tough for me. I mean, like you said, there's only 6 who have already declared, and there's going to be some surprises. So, but for right now, I'm going to say the winner of the women's Royal Rumble match, I say, is going to be the man Becky Lynch, because it's obvious they're teasing her against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania for the Women's World Championship. And I think the only way that happens is if she wins the Women's Royal Rumble match. So for now, I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch to win it, but who knows? It could be someone that we least expect. So Florio, it is yours.
Bayley feels. I'm going to be honest with you. Bayley feels like the right woman to get the win tomorrow. WWE has spent considerable time telling the story of Bayley slowly falling out with the group she founded, Damage Control, with Io Sky as the WWE Women's Champion. And now, after what happened earlier tonight with the crowning of new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions in the form of the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, Bayley could win the Rumble and choose to go after one of Damage Control's own, effectively splitting from the group and setting up a compelling story of her going against the entirety of her former stable. But after what we saw tonight, this was going into today, but after what we saw earlier tonight, I'm not so sure now. But Bayley is definitely one to keep an eye on. And ever since the inception of the Women's Royal Rumble match, every year it's been a different winner. We have not had a two-time winner of this match yet. You know, it started with Asuka, and then it was Becky Lynch, and then it was Charlotte Flair, and then it was Bianca Belair, Ronda Rousey, and then, of course, last year, Rhea Ripley, who set all kinds of records, with the exception of the elimination record. The elimination record is 8. Rhea Ripley has the record for longest appearance in a Women's Rumble match set 1 year ago. 1 hour, 1 minute, 8 seconds, 7 eliminations in that match to win it. And it kick-started what ended up being the biggest year of her career, so much so that she dominated the women's wrestling scene in 2023 and ran away with our year-end award as Female Wrestler of the Year. Wasn't even close. I don't know. I mean, I'm torn. I'm honestly torn here. I want to say Bayley because, you know, to keep the first-time thing going, and it would give Bayley another accolade. This is one of the only accolades Bayley has never done. Bayley has won everything there is to win. NXT Women's Champion, Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion, one half of the inaugural WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, also a former Miss Money in the Bank in 2019. So perhaps they give it to Bayley to add to her accolades. Would I be surprised if Bayley won? I would not. However, her winning the Royal Rumble, you know she'll go after Rhea Ripley because she stated her intentions. She wants to go after Rhea Ripley and become the Women's World Champion and have Damage Control as the most dominant female faction in wrestling today. However, I do not see that happening. I'm with Michael Bullock on this one. I'm going to take a chance and go with the man Becky Lynch to become the first ever two-time winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match. And then Becky Lynch will declare her intentions of going after Rhea Ripley. And I believe that could set up Bayley going after Io. Remember, there's another avenue for this. If Becky doesn't win, let's not forget, there's another avenue to this, guys. The Elimination Chamber. Hello, what about that? You know they're going to do a contender match for the women. They're very likely going to do one for the men as well. And the Elimination Chamber next month in Australia on February 24. 5 a.m. start time. So, yeah, you think any of us are going to be up there in that? No. So, we'll watch it later in the day. But anyways, I'm with Bullock on this one. I'm going with the man Becky Lynch to win it, to set up that dream match with her and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. They make that official. It's going to make that it's going to give that Rhea Charlotte match from last year's WrestleMania a run for its money as the greatest women's match in WrestleMania history. So I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to go with Becky to win it, but I would not at all be surprised if they throw us a curveball and give it to Bayley. So there isn't much more for me to add on to this. So MF, are you going to make it unanimous, or do you have another woman walking out of this Women's Royal Rumble match?
Going into this is pretty tough to call. We don't have enough women to really say legitimately who could win this. But just out of the 6 that we do have, Bayley and Becky Lynch does indeed stand out as the favorites going into the Royal Rumble. And I think we can openly admit either one can lay claim to winning this title. I mean, this is if you want to go Becky Lynch, obviously if Becky wins it all, then she obviously is going to go after Rhea. If Bayley wins it all, now the door does open up. This could go either way. You know, obviously they could play the part of she goes after Rhea, you know, to try to unify, to be like the greatest of all, or she could turn around and, like you say, betray her crew, and it's like, you know what? No, I want the belt for my own. I'm gonna try to ruin damage control, you know, destroy it from the inside out. Whatever the case may be, whatever they throw, this is going to be a very interesting situation. For me, truthfully and honestly, this could go a number of different ways. But if you want my honest opinion, after we saw what we saw, I'm pretty sure Becky's winning the Royal Rumble. I think Becky Lynch wins the Rumble. I think she goes on and she will challenge Rhea at WrestleMania, but I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Bayley wins it all. I think right now, those are your top 2. Outside of a stunning, shocking, if somebody comes out of nowhere that could disrupt the apple cart and prevent one of these 2 to win the Royal Rumble, I just don't know, truly and honestly, who would that be? You know, like we said, because there was only 6 names confirmed for this Royal Rumble, it does open the door for somebody to sneak in and win this. Somebody who may have not made a debut yet on WWE, or somebody that we've been waiting to see making a big return. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I'm with you. I say that I think at the end it will be Becky Lynch winning Rumble and going after Rhea at Mania. So yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, let's set up for the men's.
All right, MF will do. Here we go, guys. The men's Royal Rumble match. Now, you heard what I said about the women. There's only 6 confirmed entries. We already have 17. We got 7 entrants confirmed for the men's Royal Rumble match. They are as follows: Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Gunther, Chad Gable, Otis, Akira Tozawa, Kofi Kingston, Damian Priest, Santos Escobar, R-Truth, Carlito, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, and Jimmy Uso. 17 entrants announced. Still the chance for some surprises, guys. Not as many, perhaps not as many as on the women's side, but still. But anyways, I'm a little more confident about this one. As always, we enter the Rumble matches not knowing every participant in the bout. We do, however, know who the most likely winners are, with Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Gunther all emerging as the favorites in a deep field. While Cody Rhodes winning going on to WrestleMania and quote-unquote finishing the story by beating Roman Reigns makes sense, it's hard to imagine CM Punk not being the man pointing to the WrestleMania sign when the night ends. Punk's return was a massive headline, and he's a natural WrestleMania headliner. One of Punk's biggest complaints about his first run with WWE was that he never got his quote-unquote WrestleMania moment, even though he did win 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches that in 24 and 25. But WWE has a chance to correct that this year. Now, I know everybody's going to be saying, what about Cody? What about Cody? Hello, Elimination Chamber. He can get to Roman by winning the Chamber next month. He can still get there. He can still finish the story. He doesn't necessarily have to win the Royal Rumble to do that. You know they're going to do a contender. Like I said, they're going to do a contender match for the men inside the Chamber. Don't be surprised if they do one for the women as well, to determine the 2 championships that were not selected by the respective Rumble winners. So with all that being said, for me, the winner of the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble match, the best in the world, CM Punk. CM Punk wins, and then he will announce his intentions to go out, and he will challenge Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania and end Seth Rollins' title dreams. And Cody will still finish the story. He'll still get to Roman. He's going to do so by winning the Elimination Chamber next month. And then, and only then, Cody will finish the story at WrestleMania this time around. Believe that. Period. And a statement and a quotation. CM Punk wins the Men's Royal Rumble. Michael Bullock, or I should say MF. Who you got?
For the first time tonight, I disagree. And Anthony Florio, you are absolutely wrong. I honestly believe what we saw on Monday night was that actual foreshadowing. I believe WWE is actually going to give it to the Ring General, Gunther. After what happened on Monday Night Raw and what we witnessed, there is no way they would have given us that just for hyperbole. So I think Punk is going to make a run. I do believe he will get a moment, but not yet. I believe Cody will get to, I think he eventually will get to finish the story. But again, you don't give us something like that. Give us a one-off and think for one goddamn second that we weren't going to feast on that. I mean, I understand. I know there's some people saying, well, wait a minute. That makes no logical sense. That means Gunther's going to have to lose the Intercontinental title at some point. He will eventually lose the belt. But if you really honestly think about it, they gave us a little bit of a foreshadowing. I believe that with that respect, with everything that was said, and that kind of fire and intensity, I'm sorry. I actually bought it. I felt it. I thought it would be a great matchup. And honestly, it's time that this man takes his rightful place as the true general of Monday Night Raw. To me, Anthony Florio, yes, the sexy pick is would be CM Punk, and it would definitely give everything that the fans would want to see. But Gunther came so close last year at the Royal Rumble that he was in the final 2 with Cody Rhodes and did not win that Rumble. Cody ended up winning it. This year, Gunther rewrites his story, wins the Royal Rumble, heads off to WrestleMania, and goes against Seth freaking Rollins. The bridesmaid becomes the bride in 2024. Winner of the Men's Royal Rumble match, the Ring General, Gunther! Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Oh man, I gotta be the one to make that decides it. Man, pressure's on me.
Or you can go a completely different route and disagree with the two of us.
Man, I mean, it's a tough decision. It's tough. I mean, both of you make valid points, but I mean, yeah, I mean, would it surprise me if Cody makes it 2 years in a row? I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going back and forth between CM Punk and Gunther. I mean, you make some very valid points, Fletch. I mean, Gunther was so close to winning it last year with the kind of performance he had. And it wouldn't surprise me if he does win it. But the thing is, I mean, look, would I want to see Gunther win and challenge for the world title? Absolutely, I do. But I'm sorry, Fletch. I disagree with you. I'm going with Anthony Florio here. CM Punk, to me, is going to win this because they've been teasing this for a long time. I mean, with the hatred that Punk and Seth freaking Rollins have, I mean, the build that especially when Punk first signed with Monday Night Raw and Rollins came out, you knew that they were going to be going for this. I mean, and WrestleMania would be perfect to have CM Punk and Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. And this is where CM Punk gets to finish his story that was left unfinished a few years ago. So the winner is CM Punk. But if Gunther were to win it, I would not at all be surprised. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So Florio, I think it's time to get into the preview of Championship Sunday in the National Football League.
Well, you better believe it, buddy. Here we go. And a programming note: Sunday night, immediately following NFC Championship game, it'll be around 10 o'clock or so, maybe a little later. We don't know, depending on how the game does. We will have our Royal Rumble recap edition of Talking Wrestling TXN on a Sunday night over on the MF channel. You do not want to miss that. So with that, gentlemen, we're gonna dive right on. We're gonna dive on in now to the real reason you all are here tonight. Our preview of the NFC and AFC the AFC and NFC championship games, and we are gonna start it off with the AFC championship game that will take place this Saturday afternoon, or I should say Sunday afternoon, rather. I'm sorry, I'm excited about the Rumble. Yes, it will be it'll be at 3 p.m. on Sunday after on CBS, also streaming on Paramount Plus, as it will be the AFC championship game featuring the number 3 seed in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs, squaring off against the number 1 seed in the AFC. This game will, for the first time ever, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, will be hosting the AFC Championship games. It's all the way. So, yes. So on the call for this game, okay, I just want to be sure we're good here. Okay. And of course, with the game being on CBS, Yes, there's only one crew that can do this game. You know who it is. You know, I know I do. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Tomo, Tracy Wolfson, Evan Washburn will be joining in on the fun. And on the call for that game will be Ian Eagle, Devin McCourty, Jason McCourty, and so that's the story there. And Baltimore opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. And they've only met one other time in the playoffs before. It was in the 2010 season, played January of 2011 in Kansas City. Baltimore won that game, and in that game 30-7. So with that, gentlemen, let's dive on in to the AFC Championship preview. We're going to reset and go back to the top here. So here we go. This game marks the first playoff meeting between Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. In the regular season, Mahomes is 3-1 against Jackson, which is the most wins of any starting quarterback against Jackson season in playoffs. In their most recent meeting in 2021, Lamar Jackson beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs by rushing for 107 yards and scoring 3 touchdowns, including flipping into the end zone for the winning score. The Ravens and Chiefs will combine for at least 45 points. These were the top 2 teams in the regular season in scoring defense, with Baltimore leading the way at 16.5 points allowed a game, and Kansas City right behind at 7 touchdowns to quarterbacks, 26 in the regular season, than the Kansas City Chiefs. The X factor is Patrick Mahomes' scrambling ability. The Chiefs have had a rough time in the passing game all season long, and it's only going to get tougher against Baltimore, which allowed the second lowest open score to opposing receivers and recorded the most sacks in the league with 60. Mahomes is a very effective scrambler and will have to generate production with his legs on Sunday. The game plan: Kansas City's defense loves to use man coverage in the red zone, especially inside its own 10-yard line. Baltimore offensive coordinator Todd Monken should have some answers there, with Lamar Jackson's receivers running crossers and delaying their releases. The Ravens were 8th in red zone efficiency, scoring a touchdown on 61.8% of their trips inside the 20. The officiating: referee regular season crew threw the 3rd most flags in the NFL this season, an average of 14.8 a game. Also made an above average number of roughness calls. He threw the 3rd most flags for roughing the passer, 8, and overall his crew ranked number 1 with 25 unnecessary roughness calls. Patrick Mahomes is 3-1 outright and 2-2 against the spread against Lamar Jackson. 3 of the 4 meetings went over the total, with each matchup combining for at least 51 points. The average for the previous 4 over-unders was 52.4, with none lower than 49. The FP, they are going with the Baltimore Ravens to win this game 64% by an average of 4.6 points. I know we cannot count out we definitely cannot count out the Kansas City Chiefs. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you, I will be the first one to tell you that, especially after that hard last Sunday night. But this Raven team at home hosting an AFC Championship game for the first time in their franchise history. Michael Bullock announced to me during our SmackDown chat tonight that Jonathan Ogden is going to be a part of this game. He's going to be part of some of the ceremonies. And of course, perhaps the 2 greatest defensive players in Ravens history, the legends, the Hall of Famers, Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. It's going to be a family affair for Baltimore. And also, Let's not forget
And
about
that crowd will go nuts when Ray Lewis comes out and he does that Ray Lewis dance that has become so famous.
yes. And Bullock, I'll let you elaborate a little bit more on that when we get to your turn there. But yes, Ray Lewis will in fact be there, and let's not forget about the Harbaughs. I mean, earlier this month, let's not forget Jim Harbaugh took the Michigan Wolverines to their first national championship since 1997. Could brother John could he take one step closer to adding to that Harbaugh trophy case? There is a very realistic possibility of that happening. And I believe the Baltimore Ravens are going to win this game. Would I be surprised if Kansas City wins? I absolutely would not. Especially after last week. But it's going to be a great game. It's going to come down to the wire. But I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to do just enough, especially with this game being in Baltimore. I got to go with the Baltimore Ravens to win the AFC Championship and move on to Super Bowl 58. 26-20, the Baltimore Ravens defeat the Kansas City Chiefs and wins their fourth AFC Championship and advances to the Super Bowl at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Baltimore wins 26-20. So MF, nothing more to say. Come on in, MF. The Phil Simms to my Jim Nance as always. And of course, this right here, our Super Bowl right here. The AFC Championship game. First time ever we're doing this thing in Baltimore. I mean, I never thought we'd be going to Baltimore for a championship game, but alas, here we are. Snapping a 5-year streak. We had done the last 5 championship games in Kansas City. It's the first time since January of 18 when we did it in Foxborough with Bullock's Patriots against Jacksonville. But nonetheless, here we are, Baltimore, Maryland. First ever AFC Championship game for the Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium. First for the city in 53 years since the Baltimore Colts in 1971. So this is truly what the words main event were meant for, because this right here, this is the AFC main event. And brother, it don't get no bigger. And as the Phil Simms to my Jim Nance, more than ever, do that thing I like. Hello, friends.
Yes, indeed. This is going to be a big game. This is that matchup that I think the whole world is ready. You know, the comparisons about Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and what they have done up to this point, it is going to be an incredible game. This is what the world, two great offenses, two very good defenses. If you think about it in the hindsight, it's evenly matched. This is going to go a number of different ways. The one thing that will be a factor will be the weather. And you kind of have to feel like right now, this actually might be the moment for the Baltimore Ravens. You know, for the longest time, everybody's been talking about, it's basically been the challenge, all the stuff, this and that, left and right. And everybody was talking about, this team goes this way, this team goes that way. You know, the preparations that everybody's been waiting for. And now here we are. AFC Championship game. To be honest, I'm excited for the game itself. I'm excited for what we're going to get. And if you really want my honest opinion, obviously you can't go against Kansas City, especially for what they have done. Baltimore right now, I think this entire season, they've been the most complete team to the very end. However, Kansas City, they're not afraid of the moment. They're like, we've been here before. Been there, done that. We are ready to do whatever we can to win this. I mean, I think a lot of people thought that maybe Kansas City's season would have ended last week against Buffalo. I didn't. And I went against, and as everybody knows, I went against my fellow brothers, and I came out on top. I won that game. The thing that I can think of is that this could end up being another great moment for the team, but I feel like Baltimore is just a juggernaut. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but this is going to be a close game. In one way, yes, but in one way, no. I don't think I think it'll be a battle. I think it'll be a three-quarter type game, but I think Baltimore will slam the door on Kansas City and win the AFC Championship. But I actually have the margin a little more bigger than Anthony and probably what the experts are going to have it. 24-13. The Baltimore Ravens captures the AFC Championship and is on its way to Super Bowl 58. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really good game because you got the phenom and Patrick Mahomes, who's obviously won 2 Super Bowls, and Lamar Jackson. He's heard the talk. We're saying, oh, you can't win the big one. Well, he finally got over that hump with the performance he had in the divisional round and got this team to this point. And yeah, I mean, this is another chance for Lamar Jackson to add to what I think is going to be an MVP season, because we all agree we think he's going to win. He's going to win the MVP. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I mean, yeah, this is going to be really good. And the thing is, for the Kansas City defense, I mean, they really need to. What they got to do is they got to control Lamar Jackson, and it's easier said than done. But then that offense, I mean, you got some other contributors, but I'm interested to see what Patrick Mahomes does against that Ravens defense. And like I said, I mean, with some of the things with Jonathan Ogden is going to be the honorary captain of this game, and for the Legends, 2 of the greatest to ever play defense for the Baltimore Ravens, Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. And when Ray Lewis comes out and does that dance, that crowd at M&T Bank Stadium is going to be fired up to host its first ever AFC Championship game, because all the other times they've been in the AFC Championship, they played it on the road. I think it was during the 2000 season, again, when they played the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. Yep. And the 2 other times in Foxborough against my team, the Patriots, 2011 and 2012. So, yeah, you think that crowd's definitely going to be fired up for this moment. And I think the Ravens are going to feed off of this one. It's going to be a close one, but Baltimore is going to win the AFC Championship 27-20 and will advance to their first Super Bowl since they won it all during the 2012 season. So there's really nothing more to say except let's get to the NFC Championship.
Yes, sir. And by the way, the over under for Kansas City and Baltimore is 44 and a half. 44 and a half is the over under. And just like in the AFC, Can you guys hear me? First of all, I just want to make sure that I'm good here because little shaky.
You were a little choppy, but now you're good.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, all right. NFC Championship, and it will feature, just like in the AFC. It's the number 1 versus the number 3. We got the number 3 seed, the Detroit Lions, squaring off against the number 1 seed, the San Francisco 49ers, Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, California. For Fox, it will be, of course, the A-Team, of course, Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olson, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi. Westwood One Radio, Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, and Laura Oakman will be your crew for the Westwood One. San Francisco opening up as a 7-point favorite, and the over-under 50.5. 50.5 is the over-under here. Third postseason meeting between these two. They've met twice in the playoffs before. In 1957, all the way back in 1957, they played in what was known as a conference playoff in San Francisco, and the Detroit Lions won that game by a score of 31-27. The last postseason meeting was during the 1983 season. It may have been in December of 1983 or January of 1984, but it was in San Francisco, and the San Francisco 49ers defeated the Detroit Lions 24-23. So it's a 1-1 series history. So there isn't anything else left to say here. MF, come on in. NFC Championship game. Without a question, the new sentimental favorite. Now that Buffalo is gone, unfortunately, the Detroit Lions now assume the title of the sentimental favorite of the 4 teams remaining in these playoffs. They have a very uphill battle here. The big question is, can they go into San Francisco and shock the world and do something they've never done before? Go to the Super Bowl.
It is going to be a daunting task. Unfortunately, I think we all can agree that it's probably not going to happen. But the thing is that at the end of the day, it's going to be an incredible run. It's going to be an incredible performance. I think that all of us feel like this could go a number of different ways, but unfortunately, I just don't see that. I just don't see it happening on this day. I think the Niners are going to be just enough to get them to the Super Bowl. And I just feel like now that we found out that Deebo Samuel is back and will play in the game, that's going to be a major factor. That's going to be a massive announcement for them. And I just feel like when it's all said and done, as good as this game will be, I just don't think that it's going to be enough. I believe that it's going to be a very good game to the very end. But for me, at the end, I do have the San Francisco 49ers going to the Super Bowl. And I think they're going to win this one 31-23. That's my prediction. Niners wins the title. And Michael Bullock is all yours.
Yeah, what a moment for this Detroit Lions franchise. I mean, playing in just their second conference championship game, and just think of everything this team has gone through. I mean, yes, they've been to the playoffs, but they've never been able to take that next step. I mean, 2011, of course, losing to the losing to the Saints. 2014, losing to the Cowboys. 16 against the losing to the Seahawks, and of course in the past, and of course, let's not forget the biggest hard times that this team went through. Yes, they've been through hard times before, but the biggest one, 2008, 0-16. And now to go from this to being one step closer to doing something that this franchise has never experienced, playing in a Super Bowl. I mean, just think. I mean, Dan Campbell has done a really great job with this team. I mean, Jared Goff has been really good. The offense, the defense. But now you got to go into San Francisco and deal with the 49ers. Now that we know that Deebo Samuel is going to be playing. Yeah, it's going to be a daunting task. You know the Lions are going to be up for it. But at the end of the day, I think it's just going to be too much for them. I got the San Francisco 49ers winning the NFC Championship. And I'm going to say 31 to 23 is my final score. And they go to Super Bowl 58, setting up a rematch from Super Bowl 47. San Francisco and Baltimore. And oh, by the way, Florio, what was that Super Bowl? That Super Bowl 47 between those two? Which station was that on?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it on the mothership, CBS?
Yeah. So think about that. You add that, and now 11 years later, they could face each other again on CBS. Man, it's yours, Florio.
All right. This is a matchup of the established playoff favorite, the San Francisco 49ers, against the upstart postseason underdog, the Detroit Lions. San Francisco will be making its NFL record 19th conference championship game appearance. Detroit is in just its second NFC championship game of the Super Bowl era, and first since the 1991 season played in January of 1992 against the then Washington Redskins at the old RFK Stadium, and the Redskins smashed the Lions that day 41-10. But this game also has all the makings of a heavyweight fight between two of the league's most physical teams. How the Niners' run defense, which ranks 25th in rushing yards allowed at 128.6 and 28th in yards per carried allowed, 4.8 since week 15, holds up against the Lions' two-headed rushing attack of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, will go a long way in determining whether Detroit can spring the upset. Jahmyr Gibbs will rush for a touchdown in his third consecutive playoff game. Sony Michel, Tim Hightower, Jamal Lewis, William Floyd, and Hall of Famer Tony Dorsett are the only NFL rookies with touchdowns in 3 playoff games. But Jahmyr Gibbs will become the 6th to accomplish the rare feat. The 49ers have been the toughest team to tackle in the NFL this season, leading the league in yards after contact, 95.3 a game. In the NFC Championship game, the Lions defense will look to put a stop to that, as it leads the league in yards after contact allowed a game at 63.5. The X factor is Lions edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson. The Lions pass defense is the weakest unit left in the playoffs, ranking 30th in EPA per dropback over the course of the season. Hutchinson is one person who can change that in a flash, and he has been a different player in the postseason. Pass rush win rate, more than double his regular season number. He also has 8 sacks in his last 4 games. Detroit, the underdog, needs something special. A strip sack, perhaps, from Hutchinson to put this game back on level terms? The game plan key. Detroit has to get Brock Purdy off schedule with pressure. Including the playoffs, Detroit has registered a blitz rate of 28.3% on first and second down, which ranks in the top 10. The Lions simply cannot let Purdy throw in rhythm or allow Coach Kyle Shanahan to control the tempo. For the officiating, referee Clete Blakeman's regular season crew took to heart the NFL's midseason emphasis on offensive offside penalties, throwing a league-high 5 such flags. It was ranked second in the NFL in flags, 53, related to defensive pass coverage, illegal contact, defensive pass interference, and defensive holding. The Lions are 13-6 against the spread, the second best mark behind the Raiders at 12-5. Overs are 12-7 in Lions games. The 49ers are 9-9 against the spread, with overs going 10-8. The FPI loves San Francisco. 74% going with the 49ers by an average of 8.5 points. I think it's going to be closer than that, as I have the San Francisco. I also have the sit. Now let me say it like this as I close it out. As I close it out here, let me just say it like this. I would love, you guys know me. You guys know how much I love underdog stories. And this would be one of the greatest of all time. You think of all those Lions fans, those long-suffering Lions fans who have had to suffer all the hard times, all the heartache of their own for a number of years. So many years, so many dud teams, so many close calls in the playoffs. And of course, you know, two in particular come to mind. 89-year-old Benjamin Cap, who you've seen on camera, who you saw on camera in the last game against Tampa Bay. He's been a season ticket holder almost forever. 89 years old. And of course, the other, of course, happens to be my brother Nick, who I have obviously well documented on this program a time or two. He's been a long-suffering Lions fan. He's been a fan of this team since the days of his idol, Barry Sanders. And what a story this would be for this team to do the unthinkable and go into San Francisco and steal one and shock the world and do something they've never done before, and that's go to the Super Bowl. I believe this is their best chance to do it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I want to see it happen. I really, really do. I'm pulling for this team to win. I really am. However, at the end of the day, we got to be realistic here. And especially with the news that came out tonight that Deebo Samuel has indeed been cleared to play in this game, I have to be realistic and honest. I have to go with the San Francisco 49ers, even though I want the Detroit Lions to win this game. I really do. So I'm going to go with San Francisco to win as well. I think it's going to be a little more higher scoring than what these guys have it. 31-28. The San Francisco 49ers defeat the Detroit Lions, win yet another NFC championship, and set up a San Francisco 49er, Baltimore Raven Super Bowl 58 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And if it's anything like what we saw in 47, it's going to be something very special. And it's going to be the immortal words of Booker T. Good. So there isn't anything else left for me to say with that, except that will put the bow on this very special edition, this special crossover edition, Talking Wrestling TXN meets TXN Sports World. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in, as always. We will not have a show tomorrow night because we will be enjoying the Royal Rumble event, and you know it's going to run late, so it's going to be too late to do a show. We will, however, be back with you Sunday night, immediately following the NFC Championship game, right around 10 o'clock or so, over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95, for our Royal Rumble recap edition of Talking Wrestling TXN. That will be on Sunday night. Monday night, of course, we do it all over again with Ridiculously Raw, which, of course, is going to be the official kickstart of the road to WrestleMania. The WrestleMania sign is going to be arriving in its glory, and we're going to be going to dive into the Royal Rumble fallout on Monday Night Raw, and of course my latest Tony's take on Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up. That will be on Monday. Wednesday, of course, we will have Wednesday Night Madness over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95. NXT, AEW Dynamite, you know the drill as always. And the rest of the programming to be determined. So Of course, with no football next week to talk about, we'll see if we have a show next week, a sports show that is. Or if not, then we will move on to Saturday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, possibly Friday Night SmackDown AEW Collision. We'll see about all that. But until Sunday night for our Royal Rumble recap over on MF's channel, Bracefan 95, this is Anthony Florio here for the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, good old MF, Michael Fletcher. And of course, always and forever, the first lady of Talking Wrestling TXN, the one and only Twisted Angel, DD Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy the Royal Rumble. Enjoy the Conference Championship games. And until Sunday night, for our Royal Rumble recap, you have been watching this very special edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, Conference Championship edition, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.